Hey guys, Christopher the Gorilla Gunfighter, and I'm going to do a quick drill for you guys today. We're going to be doing a trigger reset, and I'm going to be using a semi-automatic handgun, a semi-automatic rifle, and a pump-action shotgun. In short, what trigger reset does is it helps you become inherently more accurate just by controlling the trigger as you're firing. So let's go ahead and get on that. I'll go ahead and zoom in so you guys can see where my trigger finger is. Alright, I'm going to fire a couple rounds, and I'm just going to let it out, so just bang and let off the trigger. Alright, now, that was essentially pulling the trigger all the way back, and then letting it out all the way forward. Now, we're going to try reset, and what I want you to try to hear, I'm going to exaggerate a little bit, because it's going to be harder to hear, because the camera cuts out the sound of the gunfire. So I'm going to pull the trigger and I'm going to hold it all the way to the rear. I'm going to let it out just a little bit until that trigger mechanism inside resets. There'll be a click, an audible click, and then I can pull the trigger back again. So let's do this one more time. This time, trigger reset. There. My trigger is now reset. I don't have to let it out all the way out. I pull it all the way to the rear, hold it there. Now, we'll do it a little bit fast real quick, actually. Alright, we'll do it a little bit faster this time. Makes you a lot faster on the trigger and a lot more accurate than having to slap that trigger again, because as you're slapping that trigger, you're pushing the gun forward, trying to help that, I want you to go off now, shoot now, instead of keeping it at eye level, sights, trigger control, everything else. So that's with a semi-automatic handgun. Let's now do that drill with a semi-automatic rifle. And right now, what we're using is an Arsenal SGL AK. No frills, no, optics or anything. Just a really good rifle. So, make sure we're loaded. Yep, we are loaded. And I'll try to. Normally, I'd hold the gun just like this, but I'm having to modify so you guys can see around my big hairy ass arm. So, you got it? All right. So, pulling the trigger back and letting it out. First one we're going to do. Dirt flying everywhere. Okay. So, on the trigger, letting it all the way out. Not really good for accuracy, not good for trigger control. Now, all the way to the rear. And the cool thing about the AK is it has a pretty pronounced reset. You're going to hear a loud click or twang, and you're ready to shoot again. So let's do it slow this time, but to trigger reset. Right there. Right there. On the money. And that's your trigger reset on an AK. It doesn't need to go very far, but it helps you keep your sights on target, and you become, again, inherently more accurate because your barrel's not going all over the place as you're slapping away at it. So we'll do it a little bit faster and just using reset. And there we go. Alright, now, that was with the AK. Last one to do is with a pump action shotgun, just a Mossberg 500. Got some birdshot in it, and it works the same way. Going to shoot it once, and I'm going to hold the trigger to the rear. I'm not going to keep flying off the trigger because this thing, it's a shotgun, it's got limited ammo in it. So I'm going to pull the trigger, hold it all the way to the rear as I cycle the action, and then I'm going to start letting the trigger out. and you're going to hear the click. Hopefully you'll be able to hear the click. I'll try to slow it down so the camera sound picks it back up. So let's do this. Got me? Alright. Right there. That's a real small reset. Now, I'll go ahead and I'll empty this gun, just use the reset. So we can do it a little bit quicker. Alright, we are empty. That's it, guys. That's your trigger reset. It helps you become more accurate. It helps you in your facets of shooting. Your trigger control, it helps out a lot. Your accuracy rate helps out a lot, and it just builds good fundamentals. So any other suggestions you guys want to know, you know, how different guns are working, ammo, gear questions, knives, whatever, just let me know. And you guys have a good one. Thanks.